Xiaomi had one of its biggest launches in India recently, where it introduced the flagship Mi 11 Ultra, the Mi 11X series, and its largest smart TV in India. To talk about it and company's strategy for the Indian market, I have with me Xiaomi's Global Vice President and India Managing Director, Manu Kumar Jain. Welcome to India Today Tech, Manu. How are you doing?
So much, Manas. Thanks for inviting me. And I sincerely hope that you and everybody at India Today is safe at this point of time.
This is your by far your biggest launch in the country. Does
Yes,
that make you nervous? How do you feel about these products right now?
this is true, Manas, that this was the biggest launch event of the year. And not just for us, but my guess is for any brand in the country. This would have been probably the biggest launch event. We call this launch event as into the future because we believe the products that we launch, all four devices, are very futuristic devices that we're launching in 2021. Of course, starting with our Mi 11 Ultra, the super phone.
Yeah.
And these are the devices, these are the kind of devices that probably other brands will launch 1 year, 2 years, 3 years down the line, and we're launching them now. And that's why we call this event as Into the Future. So am I happy? Of course, yes. Am I excited? A lot. Am I nervous? Probably not. My only wish was that we were doing this, wish that we would have done this at a time when country was not going through or the world was not going through such high number of COVID cases. But definitely not nervous at all. Actually, very excited and very confident about these products and their potential to change the mid-premium and the premium segment in the country.
Well, I asked this question because this is not the first time that you have tried to sort of push the price points and enter towards a more premium smartphone segment. You tried to do that with the Redmi K20 series in 2019, last year with the Mi 10. But
Yes.
both these phones had a mixed sort of response. Some people were not very happy with the pricing. So, what makes you think that now the country is ready to welcome a even more premium smartphone like a Mi 11 Ultra?
Okay. Great question, and thanks a lot for asking that, by the way, Manas, right? It is true that we used to launch one flagship every year, and it is also true that maybe somewhere um, we made a mistake of not communicating about this a lot about this flagship, right? If you look at we as a company, we don't spend a lot of money on advertising and marketing, right? But we rely on our Mi fans, on our social media community to talk about us more organically. So if you look at 3 years ago, 2018, then Poco was a sub brand of Xiaomi, and we launched Poco F1. 2 years ago, 2019, we launched Redmi K series. Last year, actually, we launched multiple devices, not just Mi 10.
Yeah.
Mi 10 we launched in the middle of lockdown, like just after the lockdown, and then we launched Mi 10T, Mi 10T Pro, and then end of year or beginning of this year, we launched Mi 10i. So last year was very different. I'll tell you a little bit, maybe a journey of how these flagship things emerged, and then talk about last year's performance. So every year, when we started off the segment, which is flagship, let's say loosely, let's say maybe 20 and above is mid premium, and like maybe above 30,000, above 40,000 is premium segment.
Yeah.
So if you look at above 20,000, a few years ago, that market was like very small, like hardly 5%, 6%. And bulk of the market was below 10, 12,000, 15,000 rupees, right? And because we wanted to become the number one brand, we were so focused on the mid end and the lower end segment, right? Over a period of time, the average ASP of the market has moved. 6 years ago, it was 6,000 rupee. Today, it is 11,000 rupee for the entire market. And accordingly, our ASPs have also moved accordingly along with the market. And now the market above 20,000 rupees around 10, 12%. So one out of every 10 phones sold in India or bought in India is actually about 20,000 rupees. And we believe now is the right time for us to, we decided this last year, 2020 beginning, before COVID pandemic, that now is the right time for us to start focusing on about 20,000 rupee price segment, a lot more than what we have done in the past. So that's why last year we launched 4 devices about 20,000 rupee, which is Mi 10, Mi 10T, Mi 10T Pro, Mi 10i. Each one of them did exceedingly well. Mi 10, the price segment was very niche because it was 50,000 and above price segment, right? But if you look at Mi 10T, Mi 10T Pro, if I'm not mistaken, they were probably one of the best selling phones in 30 to 40K price segment. And Mi 10i that we just launched, it became the best selling phone in 20 to 30K segment. And it became the best selling 5G phone in India. So, and by the way, if you look at since you mentioned K20, K20 Pro also, and same for Poco F1. If I'm not mistaken, even though there was some sort of a initial social media buzz about like pricing and everything on K20, K20 Pro. But if you really look at the performance of K20, K20 Pro, if I'm not mistaken, K20, K20 Pro was the best selling phone above 20K or above 30K price segment for 6 months in India. 6 months, 2 consecutive quarters.
And now that the Mi 11 Ultra is here, and of course we can see you holding it in your hand as well.
Yes.
What makes it different from the other flagship smartphones? Of course, we're going to do a detailed review of it on India Tech, but I just want to hear it from you that what makes this phone different or special.
Oh, almost every single thing, right? I was talking to somebody, a CEO friend of mine, who's the CEO of one of the largest tech companies, internet companies in India. We were having a chat yesterday, and similar like a video kind of chat. And I did a demo to him yesterday, and he was so impressed. He said like this is the kind of phone that he has never seen before, and I would agree with him. Like this is the kind of phone that the world has never seen before. And there's so many firsts. Like I can probably keep going on. I can go on for 2 hours and tell you about all the firsts that this phone has. But let's just look at some of the big ticket items, right?
Yeah.
This has the best camera ever put on a smartphone. The usual joke that a lot of people have, this is like a DSLR which can make calls rather than a phone. This is the best display in the world. There's no other display which is even comparable to this one. And you can look at all the flagships, including like 1 lakh rupee flagships, S21 Ultra, OnePlus 9 Pro, or whichever one you can think of. There's no display which is comparable. There's no camera which is comparable. Of course, this is like the best sound. This is like the best material which we have used. This is IP68. But let's just talk about like 8 or 10 big things about this phone, right?
Yeah, sure.
This phone has an incredible camera, like the first of its camera that we have seen in this world. All right, it has a triple primary camera. Of course, you have seen like 3 camera phones, 4 camera phones, 5 camera phones, right? But in that, the primary camera sensor is only one, right? And others are not. This is the first phone with a triple primary camera sensor, which is 50 megapixel plus 48, right? The 50 megapixel is probably the largest camera sensor put on a smartphone ever. It's almost a 1-inch sensor, 1 by 1.12, and this is huge. This is massive. Not just this is the biggest or one of the biggest pixels that is available on a camera sensor, which is 1.4 micron each. This is the widest ultra wide that you can take with the 48 megapixel Sony IMX camera. This is the largest zoom, 120x zoom that you can get. And this is a DxO #1 camera in the world, right? So not just us, like, but even DxO says that this is the best camera available in the world on any smartphone.
Definitely, really looking forward to using the phone and even reviewing it for all our viewers. Manu, let's talk about the price now. Now, even before the launch, you made it very clear that the Mi 11 Ultra is going to be slightly on the higher side because of the import duties and all the other expenses that have to be added on. But how far are we from manufacturing and completely making these premium phones in India so that we can avoid these additional costs?
Hope I can say this to you, and through you I can speak to your users. The pricing of any phone is not a direct conversion of exchange rate. Like the biggest mistake is people basically say, oh, this was launched in dollar and so many dollars or so many euros or so many in RMB in China, and hence this should be the INR price. That is a completely false way of doing this. You know why?
Yeah.
Because there are so many different factors. Exchange rate has fluctuated. If you look at 1 or 2 years ago, rupee used to be, again, dollar used to be maybe 65, 68. Now it is 72. Last few weeks, it has moved to 75. RMB versus INR used to be 10. Now it is 11.6, 11.7. So exchange rate keeps fluctuating. Second, the taxes in different countries are different. So some countries have less than 10% VAT or GST. Some countries have 12. We have 18%. Some countries are even higher than that, right? So the GST is different, and GST you have to pay even if you're manufacturing here, right? It's not as if you're manufacturing here. Some people don't understand. Some people were picking me saying, oh, why are you counting GST when you're making phones here? Even if you're making phones here, you have to pay GST, right? So that's point number 2. Point number 3 is there are different costs involved in different countries, which is like just the cost of manufacturing. We are setting up so many manufacturing plants. Last year also we set up 2 new manufacturing plants for smartphone. So a lot of investments go over there. So depending upon in which stage you are, the country is in with respect to manufacturing, setting up, making these investments, the investments required could be different, and hence the cost of running operations could be different. And of course, the latest, which is a global disruption in supply chain, and hence the component pricing keeps going up and down. Memory, display, camera module, chipset, everything. So given all of these things, it is very dynamic, and people should not and must not do this comparison. Point number one. Point number two, disagree with you when you say that the price is higher because of import duty. If you look at our India pricing versus global pricing, actually India pricing is lower. So I do not know where you're coming from saying that pricing is higher, because even if you do a simple dollar to rupee conversion and it's simple rupee to RMB to INR conversion, it is actually lower than global markets. Even if there's an import duty, we as a company are absorbing everything. We're not passing on to users. Point number three, if you look at today, I again say 99% of our phones are made in India. And even if you look at the flagship, which is Mi 11X and Mi 11X Pro, they are being locally manufactured in the country. Now, Mi 11 Ultra is one phone which is made by our fully automated factory. And right now, the fully automated factory with zero human intervention, given this is an IP68, given everything which is there in this particular phone, we only have one fully automated factory in the world. And hence, we are forced to import this one. But everything else, more than 99% of phones are locally made in India, including our flagships, which are 11X and 11X Pro. So I think on local manufacturing, we have been pushing this a lot. Every year we set up new manufacturing plants. Last year we had set up BYD and DBG, like this year, beginning of this year and last year. Year before that we had set up with Flex. Year before that, for last few years, we were doing with Foxconn. So every year we keep setting up new manufacturing plants, and we would want to keep pushing for it. And not just phone manufacturing, but even component manufacturing. So a lot of flagships, mid-premium and premium flagships, will be manufactured in India. Once in a while, there could be small quantities that we might import, but the aim is to ensure that 99% or more than 100% phones, like more than 99% or 100% of the phones, are locally manufactured in India.
When I said that it's on the higher side, what I meant was maybe from what people were expecting it to be, what the expectations are, and expectations are often unreal, so we can't do much about it.
This is a phone which is you can't even get, even if you are spending 1 lakh rupee on other competition devices. Even after spending 1 lakh rupee, you will not get these kind of specs. So the way to think about this is, at 70,000 rupee, actually, I think this is a steal. This is like super cheap. Like even if you want to pay 1.5 to 2 lakh rupee, you can't get these kind of specs. So at 70,000 rupee, I actually think this is like super lucrative. Of course, if somebody wants it at 10,000 rupee, there is nothing that we can do. We can't give it. People may have crazy expectation. People will say, why don't you give? One day, somebody even messaged me on Twitter saying, oh, like, why don't you give a Snapdragon 888 on your Redmi Note series? Of course, this is not possible. Like, hey, I can't, there's no way, like, unless we decide to make 20,000 rupee loss on every single device, we can't give a Snapdragon 888 with the current pricing of chipsets and everything at like a 15,000 rupee device. So it has been really tough. Has there been a shortage? Yes. Are we doing everything possible to work with the partners to mitigate it? Definitely, yes.
Manu, in the beginning, I briefly mentioned the Redmi K20 series, and honestly, I kind of like those two smartphones that had come in 2019, but we haven't seen a successor since. Instead, what you've been doing is you've been rebranding Redmi K series phones in India, which is a company called, of course. So, but what I want to understand is, where does it leave with the Redmi K series in terms of India specifically?
Good question. Thanks for asking that. So if you look at the way we work as a company, right, we have a central R&D pool.
Yeah.
And different R&D, different product teams, different brands. So we have different product teams for each brand, right? And different product teams from different brands can dip into that R&D pool. And then different countries have different requirements. So they can also customize these phones, pick up that core R&D, customize those products for that particular market. If you look at, it is true that Mi 11X series is definitely inspired by the Redmi K series. But is this exactly same? No, because we've also done a lot of customization for India. Like some of the basic ones that we can talk about is something like Navic, that both these phones come with Navic support. Dual assistant, this is something that we, or like multiple voice assistant, this is something that we introduced with, I think first time with Redmi Note 8 Pro, if I'm not mistaken. and then people loved it. And since then, we've been trying to introduce many other phones in India, which is a very India-specific requirement, or multi-voice assistant support, and similarly few of the customizations. Unlike all other brands which would be launching like 40, 50 phones, there are, like I was just counting what my team was telling me, there are also brands which have launched like already, we have not even completed 4 months and they've already launched like 25, 30 phones. Some of the brands, which is crazy. Like every week they're having a launch event, every week churning out like 2, 3 phones. So we hope that if the product, each of these products is done well, we should not be required to refresh them very quickly. Like this refreshing phones every 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, you are supposed to do when your current phone is not selling well or your current phone is not good enough. If you genuinely provide a great device at a great quality and a great price, you can actually sell it for at least 8, 10 months, ideally 15, 16 months. That's what our aim is.
We shouldn't be expecting a Redmi K series phone anytime soon in India, right?
No immediate plans. If of course plans, if something happens, we would be the first ones to come and talk to you. But no plans right now.
So my last question to you, Manu, is, which in fact you also talked about just now, that Xiaomi has had same number of launches this year. And I don't know how else to put it apart from the word same, because some of the other brands have just gone, I mean, they've been very aggressive. You have had the Mi 10i series, the Redmi 10 Note 10 series, and now you have the Mi 11X smartphones. So what are the plans of Xiaomi for India in 2021? And what else should we expect from you?
Yeah, so a few points. Point number one, as I said, each phone, if it is done well, you don't need to refresh it for like easily 8, 10 months or maybe even 15, 16 months. And I genuinely mean this. Every phone, which is, if you look at our Redmi Note series, we refresh it once in a year and it does exceedingly well. There are brands which launch 2 or 3 phones to compete with Redmi Note in the similar price segment. And even after refreshing twice or thrice, just one Redmi Note sells more than each one of them. So we firmly believe that less is good, more is actually not good. If you focus on less number of devices, you can actually provide great specs that others will not be able to provide, because you are able to focus on few things. At least that's what our belief is, right? So when you try and launch too many devices too often, you are just basically making compromises. You're just like making small changes, like upgrade the camera or like change the display, and they just keep relaunching it again and again, right? So we want to avoid that as much as possible.
Thank you so much, Manu, for your time. All the best for the Mi 11 series and all your plans for 2021. You've been really kind with your time. And for all the India Today Tech viewers, if you like this conversation, if you like any other videos, please subscribe to India Today Tech. Also hit the bell icon so that you don't miss out on any updates from our end. Thank you so much, Manu.
Thank you so much, guys. And please stay safe and take care, guys. These are very testing times. I sincerely hope and request that everybody follows enough precautions. Do not step out. And if you're stepping out, please do wear a mask.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Manas.